friends, and welcome back to the show. On today's episode, we're going to be building and reviewing this 55 Chevy Bel Air street machine from Monogram. Wait, Monogram? More on that in a minute. Anyways, right off the bat, I want to say thank you to all my current subscribers and everyone who supports the channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And also, I would like to thank Revell for sending this kit into the channel for us to review and build. Thank you very much. And now we'll get back to this. Yes, that says Monogram. So this is a kit from Revell. However, it originally was a Monogram kit way back in 1968. And back then it was the Tom Daniels Batman version of the 55 Chevy Bel Air dragster funny car. Now this kit has been repopped many times since 1968. Several by Monogram with new box art, new boxes, new decals, etc. And then by Revell and this latest edition that came out in 2022. Now, I talked to my friends over at Revell and asked them, hey, why are you labeling this as Monogram and not Revell? And basically they said that some of the kits that are older that were really popular when released by Monogram, they're going to use the Monogram logo and name on it, but it is a Revell kit. Now they've done this one. They don't know when they're going to do another one, but they do plan on releasing more kits that were originally Monogram underneath the Monogram brand. So for this kit, for all of you who regularly watch the channel, I am a big fan of drag racing, funny cars, street machines, and gassers, so I have been looking forward to building this build for quite a while. I actually noticed this kit when it originally came out, but I never saw it anywhere where I was where I could pick one up, so I'm glad that I finally got my hands on one. Okay, so this is a 2-in-1 street machine, so you can basically build it as the gasser or a street machine or however you want to build it. I'm going to build mine as the gasser, because that's what I like and that's what I want to build. So I'm going to have some fun with this kit, but first we got to cut the box open and see what's inside. All right, we'll start off with the body, and also this kit is entirely molded in white plastic, but it looks like very nice quality material. And as far as this body goes, I know this is an older mold, but really this body looks actually really nice. There's not a lot of release lines on here, and the ones that are will easily be sanded off and taken care of. Nice detail there on the trim. Here we have the interior bucket, kind of a rear bench seat, and we have our hood, our custom hood. You'll remove this part when you're ready to use it, but the hood is the hot rod hood. It's got the hold down pins to keep your hood closed when you're going down the drag strip. Here we have the bottom of the chassis and frame is all one piece. Some decent details in there, and it looks like we got some exhaust pipes and mufflers going on there. Here we have our racing seats. Those are nice. And our engine block, 2 halves there. Pretty good detail on those. On this tree, we've got a really nice dashboard. We've got some springs, our drive shaft, radiator, battery, cylinder heads. Here's our pedals for the inside. All right, and here we have our last of the white plastic trees. We've got some cool looking headers, I think those are. Our wheel backs, some more headers here. Okay, here we have a small chrome tree with our custom mag wheels on them. Those actually look really nice. Here we have the larger chrome tree. We've got some more mag wheels here, nice looking grill, bumpers, traction bars, got the bug catcher and the supercharger, nice racing steering wheel. Here's our belt setup for the supercharger. Then we have our clear parts, and they're nice and clear, look like they're very well molded. We've got a clear hood scoop that we can use. That's kind of nice. And then we have the tires. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tires with tread on them. Some wider ones for the back, some narrower ones for the front. And then we've got a set of really nice slicks for the back. There's no branding on these, but they look really nice. And we've got a set of smaller tires for the front. There is a little bit of tread on these. Again, no branding on them, and I don't think there was any branding on these. Nope, no branding. But they're nice soft rubber, and they look good. All right, now we have a really sharp looking decal sheet. We've got American Hero, under pressure. Those look pretty cool. I might use those. And then we have the stars and stripes, the Chevy logos, some BF Goodrich decals for your tires, some radial TA tires on this one. We got our Cherry Bomb logos here, seat belts, gauges. All right, and then we have our instruction sheet, paint guide over here, our parts guide here. And then for installation, we're going to go right into building that beautiful engine there. Here we have starting our interior, attaching that to the frame, or putting that in the body. Got our suspension parts here, our wheels, and you can do whichever version you want on yours. I love it when they include multiple versions in kits, so you really have some freedom to build it the way you want to build it. There's that hood with that clear hood scoop, and then a layout of what decals go where, or however you want to put them, really. I mean, it's your model. You can put them any way you like. Here's a paint scheme for this version of it with the two-tone. I really like how that looks too. All right. So that concludes the unboxing portion. So now I'm going to grab some tools and get to the build. Okay, friends, just a quick update on the build process. I've got a bunch of my parts pre-assembled and cleaned up, and also primed a bunch of them. For the suspension on this, the front suspension goes together well. It's a little tricky, so just be patient with it. But I actually installed it and built it right on the frame here. It was just easier to make sure everything was lined up. As for the rear, this is really straightforward, but what I did was I sat the parts on here to assemble it and get everything glued so everything would line up once it was dry. And then I'll take this off now. I can just paint this a different color, and everything else is painted in that flat black. Seats and some of the interior are going to be different colors, so I primed them in a gray. The engine looks good. We'll get this finished up and get some paint on that as well. The interior, I think I'm just going to go with a stock black interior on this one. Not 100% sure yet, but that's kind of where I'm heading right now. And then for the body cleaned up well. Got a nice coat of primer on it. Looks really nice. One thing I will say is that the fit of the hood, you're going to want to fit the hood on here before you prime it and do some cleanup and sanding, especially on the back parts of the hood, to make sure that the hood sits properly on the body. Initially, when I first put it on, the hood would stick up like this, and you could force it shut, but you don't want to have to do that. You want it to be able to close naturally like that, and you don't want to be sanding and trying to get fitment right after you've got your primer and paint on it. It's just easier to do that all beforehand. So otherwise, everything's going well on the kit, and we're going to get some more paint on these parts and get some more assemblies going. So for now, back to the build. And here it is, friends, the completed 55 Chevy Bel Air Street Machine 2-in-1 kit from Revell. I had an absolute blast building this one. The 55 Chevy is such an icon of drag racing history, and Revell absolutely nailed it with this reissue from the classic monogram kit. From the high stands to that blown engine poking through the blue-tinted hood scoop, it just screams old school quarter-mile fun. With 92 parts, it's a great build for most modelers. There's enough detail to keep things interesting without feeling overwhelmed. The engine and other assemblies went together smoothly, and advanced builders will find plenty of opportunities for extra details. One of my favorite things about this kit was the build options. You can follow one of the included versions or mix and match like I did to come up with a little bit of a custom look. Either way, you'll end up with a model that's packed full of personality. So in addition to everything on the kit going together pretty much as it should, the decals on this kit were really nice. They give you a lot of extra ones and you can mix and match, and the quality is just really nice. Even on these larger decals here, they go on really well. I had one come apart just slightly, but no big deal, you can just slide them together. Otherwise, all the decals went on great, and as you can see, it really looks pretty sharp. The only challenging part of the build I feel that young modelers or novice modelers might have is assembling this front end here. It can be kind of tricky and you have to line it up just right. But other than that, everything else just went together like it should and with no fuss. And if you're into vintage drag racing, classic Chevys, or just want a project with some serious visual impact, this one's definitely a winner. So I'm just curious, how many of you have already built this kit at one point or another? And what version did you go with? How did you like the kit? Positives, negatives? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear all your feedback. And for those of you out there who haven't built this kit yet, I highly recommend giving this one a try. I'll leave a link to Revell's site in the description below, or you can just scan the QR code on your screen and grab one for yourself. Well, that wraps up this build of the 55 Chevy Bel Air Street Machine 2-in-1 kit. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button down below. It helps out the channel and I'd really appreciate it. And as always, friends, everyone just be safe out there and go build something.